All right. So we're up towards the tops of our mats or even in the middle, somewhere that feels good. Our focus today on balance. So one of the things you want to think about when we're balancing is to have some space between our feet so that you have a strong foundation, and pressing down into both of our feet. We can close our eyes today and open up across our hearts and find our mountain pose. Allowing our breath to stretch our chest. Taking a big breath in and just feeling the expansion of your lungs. And then exhaling. We're going to continue to breathe here in our mountain pose while we notice the strength of our core. There's a little bend in our knees. Our collarbones are widening. It's okay to breathe big and full. Adding on today a little bit of belly breath. We might have done this last week as well. It's really important. Let's place one hand on our belly and one hand up just higher on our chest or our heart area. So check in and see how you naturally, if I told you to take a deep breath in, what you would do. Right, so it's mostly up into the upper part of your lungs. So on our next breath in, let's try to breathe down and fill the base up. So our bottom hand is going to lift before the top hand. Big, beautiful belly breath. Let the belly be soft here for now. Amazing. We found our breath. Let's bring our hands back to our mountain pose. Turn our palms up towards the front of the room. Take a breath in and reach our arms up towards the sun. Exhaling, bringing our hands back towards Mother Earth. Inhale, reaching up. You can close our eyes if you want to. Continuing to flow with your own breath at your own pace. Some things to think about here, pressing into both of our feet. Feeling the stretch down the sides of our bodies. Maybe noticing our thumbs touch at the top. Letting go of your morning, bringing your kind and gentle awareness with it. One more flowing mountain, and we'll be turning it into a flowing chair pose. We exhale, bend our knees and sit our hips back, keeping our hearts lifted. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, shifting back into chair. All on your own, just moving with your breath. If you're on your chair today, or if you're at home today on your chair, you'd be right on the edge of your chair so that you still have to balance and just be flowing the arms. We're taking care of our knees. We don't need to have a great big bend in our knees. We'll be turning our flowing chair into a flowing airplane. We hinge at our hips and come about halfway down, looking on the mat in front of us. Inhale, back up, reaching up towards the sun. Exhale, hinging, a little bend in our knees. Inhaling up. All on our own again. Just breathing. Honoring any injuries or limitations that we might have with today's body. Listening to the body as it whispers to us. Hinge forward and a stretch down the backs of our legs. Nice, gentle warm up to start our practice. We'll come all the way back up to an extended mountain. So it's standing tall with our arms reaching up, extending up towards the sun. Actively reaching while we press into our feet. Breathing, feeling, listening. Amazing. Let's take our hands to our heart center and step our left foot back down the length of our mat. So we end up turning our bodies towards the windows, with our toes on slight angles out. You could be seated on your chair if you're using your chair today, or it's in front of you for our moonflowers and our sunflowers. Some space between our feet. We reach up on an inhale and then exhale, bend our elbows, bend our knees, shift the weight back. Inhale back up. Exhale, shift it back. Flowing on your own. Some modifications, of course. We could be on our chair, using our arms only. Or you could be on your chair, just lifting up and lowering back down. So for some of us, this might feel amazing. For others, maybe a little more uncomfortable. If you'd like to add some more on, we'll hinge at our hips and sweep towards the mat. And then breathe in, reach back up. Exhale, hinging either to the mat or our chair. Inhale, reaching up to the sun. Whatever we do choose today, honoring that choice. One more moonflower, sunflower. We'll bring it back up and move into a star position. So we're right where we are, our feet are the same. Now we're reaching our fingertips in opposite directions, just opening across our chest, pressing into our feet. Let's bring our hands towards our hips, tick-tock our feet together, and move it back towards the top of the mat. So our toes are gonna face back up towards me. Time to adjust your clothes, take a drink. Okay. So let's move on through a little more of our warm up, a standing cat and cow, unless you'd like to go down onto all fours. So I'll show both of those options. Standing, we bend, or we sit on our chair. For cat pose, we're drawing the tailbone under a little bit and maybe holding onto our knees to separate our shoulder blades. And cow pose, we draw those hands in, our elbows wrap around our rib cage, we open up our chest. Exhale, back down. So flowing with that all on your own, it's inhale to cow, exhale to cat. Or if you're at home or later on, you want to try it on your chair. Or you're on all fours today. Whichever one works for you. Wherever we are, think of moving one vertebrae at a time. Last one. Big breath up. Let's grab a hold of our right hand here in our mountain pose. Hinge over towards the left. We've got our strong foundational feet as we press into both. Make sure I'm not muted. Make sure I have my microphone on.
Oh, now you can hear me. Every class or something I do. Sorry, girls, you can hear me better now. Bring it back, other side. Bring it up and over. There we go. Let's bring those hands in front of us, separate our shoulder blades, tuck our chins in. Feel that lovely stretch down the backs of our necks. And then lift our arms up. It might feel nice to separate your hands here. You don't have to have them together. And bring it down. And just in front of us. Now inhale, lift. Maybe we lift our heels and come up. Exhale down. Inhale, lifting. You can take your hands apart if it feels steadier. We can always add our eyes closing or not. Amazing. Last one. Let's bring our hands back behind us. We move into chest expansion. We'll open up across our hearts, soften our knees. If you're at home or on a chair, you're holding onto your chair and reaching the chest forward. You want a little more, my friends, when we hinge forward. That's totally up to you. Let's reach it all the way back up again, sweeping up. We're stretching our biceps. Let's take our hands out wide and then turn our thumbs down. And instead of our fingertips reaching for the walls, trying to reach with our thumbs towards the walls. So you should feel a nice stretch on your biceps here. Just those little tiny things that we can change to change the feeling of our pose. We'll turn it back around. Wonderful. Bring our hands together, clasp them, and do some wrist movements to wake up our wrists. Got a good flow going here today. Wonderful. Separate, tuck our thumbs, give them a little hug with our fingers, and warm up those wrists. Good one to do first thing in the morning. These little joint movements. And release, shake it out. All right, let's do just a couple hip circles. Oh, that feels nice. Wonderful. So we don't do our sun salutations today. We're going to do a sun breath and step back into our lunge and flow our lunge. Then we'll step back up forward to the tops of our mats. If you love sun salutations and you want to just rip through them, you can. Also, just close your eyes and flow, go do your own thing, or you stick with me. So we'll start up towards the tops of our mats, with or without our chair. Big, beautiful breath up, inhale. And exhale, let's go our halfway down that airplane. So we're just looking in front of our toes, in front of the mat. Back up, breathing in. Now we'll full forward fold, or we do that again. Then our halfway lift, we come halfway up, maybe our hands come to our shins. We're rolling our shoulders away from our ears, lengthening our necks. And there's a little bend in our knees so they're not locked. Exhale, fold again, relax. Let the head be heavy. Now we sweep it all the way up towards the sky, pressing into our feet. Exhaling into a chair pose, shifting back, keeping our core nice and strong. Big breath up, inhaling. Exhaling, bringing into mountain pose. So there's one sun breath. We're going to do a few more. Inhale up. We'll be adding on. Exhaling halfway down into our airplane. Reaching our fingertips back. Back up, breathing in. Maybe our thumbs touch. Exhale, full forward fold. Halfway lift. So those shoulders roll away from our ears. We feel the strength of our core. Exhale, fold again. All the way up, inhale. Little back bend this time if you want. Back bend. And then into chair pose. Exhale. Inhale, sweep back to sky. Exhale to our mountain. Good. Adding on again. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, aeroplane halfway down. A slight straightness of our legs, but a little bend. Inhale, back up. Exhale, full forward fold. We let our head be heavy here. Halfway lift, breathing in. Folding, breathing out. Here comes our little change here. We're bending our knees, taking our left foot back, either holding our chair or rising up into a lunge. Our back heel is high. Breathe. And flowing our lunge, straightening our leg, bringing our hands by our sides, inhaling, bending. Or you can do the opposite of that. If it feels better to breathe the opposite way, do what feels good for you. There's no right or wrong. We'll be holding in our lunge pose, knee bent, arms up, looking up between the hands or in front of us on the mat and pushing back to forward fold. Exhale. Halfway lift, breathing in. Exhale, folding again. Inhale, sweep it up, maybe a little back bend here if your spine feels okay with it. Exhale to chair pose. Inhale, back up, breathing in. Exhaling to mountain. So we've got one more like that. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, halfway down our airplane. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, full forward fold. Halfway lifts, coming just halfway back up. Strength of our core and then folding again. Bending our knees, taking our left foot back, I think. Sorry, girls. Rising up into your lunge. If you're on the same leg, switch. Yeah, so if you, I can't remember what leg we did. So let's go like this, add our little flow. So we've got our back foot reached back far enough. And we're just bending and straightening this front leg. And then we sink it down, arms are up, and forward fold on a breath out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold again, breathe out. Sweep it all the way up, breathe in. Back bend. Exhale to chair. Back up, breathe in. Exhale to our mountain pose. Wonderful. So there's our warm up and our sun salutations. If you'd like to grab a drink at this point, you can. If you want to turn the fan on, if you're super hot, if the fans are not already on, I think that guys. Ooh. Got that one on. There's a little one over there if you want to turn that one on. You ladies at home, do whatever you need to do. Maybe you're having tea. I don't know. I have to admit, I have done that during a Zoom yoga class. I just turned my camera off and had a cup of tea. But I was breathing, so it counted. Okay. Standing balance. So we're going to have our chair one side or the other of our mat if we're using our chair today. Just being mindful not to press on the back of our chair, just the front. All right. Let's take our right foot forward and flex that right foot. Breathe. A good way to strengthen up our knee. Point it and then flex. Notice this muscle, right? The more we can strengthen this muscle, it helps to surround that kneecap and keep our knee strong. We'll hold here and maybe a slight 1 inch higher lift. Oh, shaking is good. And bring it down, other side. So balance or with our chair, let's flex and point at first. And of course, a modification for more sensation for your senses would be to close your eyes. And then we'll hold that flexed leg. And if it feels okay, lift it just 1 more inch. Find the breath. Feel your quad strengthening. Feel your core coming in. And then we release. Let's take our hands to our lower back, soften our knees, and open our chest up. So draw our elbows toward each other in the back. We're just stretching out the front of our body. It's a standing camel, this pose. And we'll release, straighten our legs. Let's do tree pose today, which will lead us into our pigeon. Taking our right foot out. So our hips are the top of your hip bones, your ilium's facing up towards me, and then the heel towards the body. The chair is your best friend for this pose, as is a block. So we could have our block underneath our right foot. And then you could be reaching up. One hand or both. Breathe. So do what feels good for you in this moment. Letting go of any judgment today towards ourselves especially. Bringing our knee around to the front now. Let's do our knee strengthener again, bringing the foot forward, flexing, and 1 little inch higher. Now we'll bend our right knee and bring the right heel across to the outside of your left knee. Our foot is still flexed, and we move into our pigeon pose. So you're bending now your left knee to shift your hips back, like you're sitting back on a chair. Great opportunity to use the chair for pigeon pose. Oh, I love this song. So we're here for about 15 breaths in our pigeon pose. You could be in your chair, and if you do your chair, that gives you an opportunity to lean forward a bit. If you're doing it standing, You can modify or bend that knee a little, the left knee more. Breath. And then we'll release and do our tree on the other side. So if you're on your chair, you'll just take your left foot out for your tree pose, like so, opening the hip. That's what the tree pose is all about. Or you can make it more about balance, coming up and bringing that foot to our corner of our shin and reaching up, or keeping our foot on a block. So chair, we're opening the hip. We're standing, standing. Breathe, 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 breathe. Let's bring that left knee around and flex that foot. So we're strengthening that knee again, softening through the other knee, breathing. Oh. Then we'll bend the left knee, bringing that left foot up above the right knee over to the side. Bending the right knee to sink deeper into your pigeon pose, or grabbing our chair. You can have a little lean forward if you want to here, and you'll feel that stretch in your left glute, hip area. Breathe. So to increase the intensity, if you're standing, you're bending your supporting leg more. Whoa. It might seem crazy, but try to look at your bottom toe and make sure that you can see it. Make sure that knee is not in front. Sorry, knocked you guys right out of your poses on that one. Okay. Yeah, you're like, no, I am not. No, no, no. Okay, release those poses. We'll come back to our mountain standing and do a little flow through. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, aeroplane. So halfway down, stretch the back of the legs. Back up, breathe in. Now we move into chair. We strengthen the legs in chair. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, aeroplane, a little stretch. Back up, breathe in. This time add a little back bend. That could stretch your quads. Exhale to chair pose. Another time through. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, aeroplane, halfway down. Gazing over the edge of our mat. Back up, breathe in. Back bend. Chair pose, exhale. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, airplane. Stretch those hamstrings out. We should feel it down the backs of our legs. Our legs are relatively straight. Back up, back bend, and chair. Sweeping all the way up. And we'll meet in our chair pose now and holding our chair pose. So our options here. Chair for your chair pose. You'd be right on the edge of your chair though, so that you still have to balance and press into both feet. Hands can remain at our heart. We can even press them together to activate our chest muscles, or we can reach them in front of us. Notice how the core comes in to support your back when we extend our levers, or we can reach our arms up. Ooh, make sure you're breathing. And let's bring those hands to heart. One more time. Forward fold, exhale. Straightening out our legs a little. If it feels nice for you, a little ragdoll rock can feel good. We hold our elbows. Let the head be heavy between the biceps, and we take a little rock side to side. Amazing. Halfway lift. Come back halfway up. Fold again, breathe out. Sweep all the way up to the sky. Holding here in extended mountain. So last night we did Vino and Vinyasa. This was our pose. We're reaching for our wine glass on the top shelf. So we'll take our right toes, put them to either the back of your left heel, or wrap it all the way around to the other side. And then our left hand's going to go down and we'll tip over. So if you wanted to make this a little more intense, you could use your left hand on your left hip and give it a little push. As we reach, we're reaching with our right hand, pressing with our right heel, or keeping our right hand on a chair and pressing with our right heel. This is really good for your IT band. And we'll release. Let's do the other side. Sweep it all the way up. Wonderful. You can hold an extended mountain or take that left toes towards the right heel or wrap it around. Right hand to right, just towards the earth or to our hip. And then we can activate that little tip. But while we're reaching, we're still pressing in to your left foot, so the one behind. You can look up at your hand, you can look forward, you can even look over at that elbow, your right elbow. And release that out. Wonderful. Let's roll those shoulders back a few times. And take our right foot up towards the tops of our mats. And lunge our left foot back. Moving into, let's go into warrior two actually. The left heel goes down and the hips open. Most likely your hips right now should, and chest open towards the window or the walls. And our modifications, we've got our backside on our chair here for warrior two. Wherever we are, we're finding pressure or balancing our weight out between our 2 feet. Our right knee is bending towards the short edge, so that top edge of your mat. Our shoulders start to soften down from our ears. And we breathe. Every breath an opportunity to breathe in some kindness, some healing, compassion, whatever you might need today, strength. Every exhalation an opportunity to let go of what you don't need, negativity. Let's turn our right palm up towards the sky now, and then reach it up into reverse warrior. So our right hand is reaching up. Our left hand is just resting on our back leg. And we feel this stretch. We're bending our right knee. Moving into triangle pose, straightening out our right leg now, opening up our wings, reaching our right arm forward, and then hinging towards the shin, or shortening your stance, modifications, hand on the chair, or hand on our block. Because we don't have to touch the floor in triangle, because we want our spine to be nice and long and strong rather than bent. Looking at our front foot, we'll be lifting our back heel as we turn our hips towards the front of our mat, bending our front knee. So now we're in that lunge position again, with or without your chair. I'm happy to have my chair today. So warrior three, we straighten out the front leg, lift the back leg. Chairs are your best friend in warrior three, as is hands at heart or hips. Or you could keep the tap of the foot down. We're just looking in front of our front foot. Beautiful, amazing. And let's step it back. Right to forward fold, up to the tops of our mats. Let's do our beautiful sun breath with the chair. Inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, aeroplane. Back up, breathe in. Exhale, full forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, folding again. Now we sweep up, maybe add a back bend if your back feels good. Exhale to chair pose. Back up, breathe in. Exhale, mountain pose. And let's do that sequence on the other side. So if you're using your chair, most likely a good spot for it would be up at the top of your mat or just off to the side. Just be mindful not to press on the back. Okay, chair. Our left foot, thank you, Karen, because I forgot which foot I was on. Left foot's up at the top of the mat. Let's take that right foot back and we take the heel down, Open up into warrior two. So now our chest and our hips are most likely facing towards that long back wall. We've got a bend in our left knee. And we're pressing equally into both of our feet. Let's have our palms face the floor if that feels okay. Reaching for our fingertips for the opposite walls. Drawing the energy and the strength up from the earth. Maybe drawing some strength and energy today down from the sun. All of these amazing miracles that surround us each day and support our lives. Turning our left palm to face up towards that a wonderful sun, and then reaching it up to reverse warrior. Modifications are to be on your chair, seated. Cramp? Oh. So we can shorten our stance to modify. Good. We'll bring our chest back up to neutral, straighten out our left leg, and now our palms open towards the back wall. We reach our left hand forward towards me, and then hinge down into our triangle pose. So your left hand is reaching towards your left shin. Amazing. Breathe. Feel your body being held here by the strength of your core, by the rooting down of your feet. We'll be looking at our front foot, lifting our back heel to move into our warrior three. So if you have your chair, it's at the top of your mat, and we lift up that back foot. We could move to the wall if there's a wall nearby. Breathe. Forward fold, exhale. Space between our feet, let the head be heavy. Halfway lift, breathing in. Folding, breathing out. Sweeping up to the sky, perhaps a back bend if the back is feeling good today. Exhale the chair. Back up, breathe in, sweep to sun, draw in that energy. Exhale, bring the hands to heart. Wonderful. Do a couple more balance poses. Let's do eagle. Yes, with eagle arms as an option. So if we're going to put our block, if we're using our block on the left side of our mat, our chair can be wherever you want it to be for balance. Okay. So it's on the left side. We'll take our right foot and just walk it over here. Squeezing our inner thighs together. Modifications, keeping that foot on the mat or putting it on our block somewhere, even putting that block behind it to try to wrap our ankle around. Bending our left knee. It takes a little while to get into eagle. They make it look so easy, those eagles. And now we will do our eagle arms. First, we'll start with them out nice and wide. And then our right elbow will come in front of us. And our left elbow will wrap underneath it. Modifications, stay here or give yourself a hug, lift your elbows. Or bring palms together, lift your elbows. So palms together, eagle arms here, or give yourself a hug, pat on the back. Squeezing our inner thighs together, and let's open up and do our majestic eagle on the other side. So that block is going to go over. Your chair will go over. And we'll make our way into this eagle here on the other side. Let's walk it around and we bend this right knee. So we could work towards, depends on how you're feeling through your knees, to grab your calf with your toe or bring it to your block. You can stay with nice wide eagle arms for balance. We'll bring our left elbow in front, about shoulder height, and wrap the right elbow under. Bring those elbows up towards shoulder height, and either give yourself a little hug here or eagle arms. Palms come together, and we feel a nice stretch between the shoulder blades at the back, as well our core holding us here. And release. Oh, feels so good. We're going to make our way down onto the mat, and we're not getting back up until the class is over. So if you're going to use your chair, it's at the top. Let's flow down. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. We'll bend our knees and step back to all fours. So if anyone needs, you got your knee pads, Bernie? Yeah. If anyone needs knee pads, let me know. All right. So all fours, hands underneath. So wrists underneath our elbows, elbows underneath our shoulders. We're stacking our joints and our knees underneath our hips. You can use modifications like blocks underneath our forearms or even bolsters underneath our forearms to give our wrists a break here. Amazing. All right, let's move through a couple cat and cow rounds here. Exhale, separating the shoulder blades, tucking the tailbone under. Notice some space between our knees here. And then inhale, open up into cow. Exhaling cat. Inhaling cow. Some modifications for your wrists. Again, we could use fists for wrists. Last one. Back to all fours, reaching our right arm forward. We'll tap it on the floor in front of us and our left foot back. And if you want a little more sensation, you'll lift up the hand and the foot, or you keep the tap down. We won't flow. We're just holding here for about 5 breaths, or modifying in any way to feel good and successful in our practice today. It's your practice. Exhale, relax. And the other side, so we'll take that left hand forward, right foot back, either a tap or a lift. You could always have a block underneath that forearm. Might feel a little unsteady. And release. Let's come back to all fours and place our fingertips, and we'll see how that feels, how your wrist feels, towards your kneecaps. Yeah, no? Maybe out east to west then. Let's just slowly walk them back a little bit. And then we're just going to shift back just a little, just to stretch out our forearms. And forward. All right. I think that's enough on our knees. Let's take it to a seated position, shift back. And we will give our wrists some love. Okay, so imagine your hand here is like a tube of toothpaste and you want to squeeze the toothpaste out the top. So walk it up, start to walk it up. Once you get to where your hand is going to meet your arm, then you give it a little squeeze and you can almost feel that space being created there in your wrist. Feels like your hand could just pop right off, but don't let it. Wonderful. Let's take this left hand now and place it back behind us, maybe in between our shoulder blades or somewhere around there, or whichever hand you have up. And the other hand will reach back. So our thumb is facing down and that will open our shoulder. Let us reach. Maybe your fingertips come together behind you and your shoulder blades. Maybe they don't, and it's okay. Notice, don't judge. If you'd like a little more today, anchor the sit bones and hinge forward just slightly. And we rise up. We'll release. Now, if you have your legs crossed in some certain way, try to switch. Just switch it up, or butterfly pose, of course, is always an option for crisscross. Now we'll be squeezing our hand off the other arm. So walking it up till you find that space, and we give a little squeeze there. It'll feel good because we put a lot of pressure on. Now we're trying to lengthen it. Then we'll reach that right arm up, or whichever arm you're doing, place it back between the shoulder blades somewhere, just reaching. So this elbow is reaching towards the sun, then the other one goes out, thumb goes down, and we reach. So the back of that hand's on the somewhere along your back, anywhere's fine. Feel how open your heart is here as you breathe. And if you'd like to add a little more sensation, you can lean forward, but we anchor through our sit bones. And let's release, coming back up. Wide leg forward fold. Doesn't have to be too wide though. Whatever works for you. So your chair can be really handy here for when we fold in this position. All right, let's turn our toes up towards the sun. Anchor through our sit bones, lengthen through our spines. Check in with your pelvis. Is it tucked quite a bit? Do you have it rolled forward? Try to make some modifications to feel good there and lengthen that spine forward. And then we hinge. So we're just hinging. Focusing on length rather than depth. So once you've felt that resistance, then maybe if you want to let the head drop a little bit. Amazing. So becoming aware again of our core, and we use the back and the core to lift ourselves back up. Let's bend our left knee and bring it in towards our groin. So if you're taking care of your knees here, let's prop that knee up so that ligament's not just hanging out there. If you don't want to stretch it, maybe it's stretched already. Then our right hand will be reaching towards, actually, think of it more of as your right rib cage reaching towards your thigh. So the chest stays open and we reach up. So we could modify this by tucking your hand back behind you, and then gravity is just bringing you a little bit closer to your leg. Just let gravity bring you closer, or you'll reach up and create a little circle or a half circle towards that front toe, your right toes. It's a really great stretch for your mid back. And let's come back up and we'll do the other side. So we'll bend, extend, empower our knees to stay safe on that side. And we open our chest and just, maybe we're just, creaking and cracking. So maybe we're just reaching here with our rib cage or our hands. And the chest is open. We bring the right hand either up or you tuck it back behind you if you're healing your shoulder, or you reach long towards your toe. And we breathe, breathing through the resistance. And let's rise it up. Almost time to make our way back. So bring our knees both in. No boat today because I've got a fun brain core exercise for us. So we roll back onto our backs. We'll roll it right back. Make sure you've got space. And we roll it back, massage our lower backs down. Just give yourself that wonderful massage on your lumbar spine. All right, here's our fun. Maybe we'll giggle for this one. Legs are reaching up for legs up a wall. And also our hands today. I think this might be called dead bug pose. So for today's core exercise and brain exercise, we'll take our right leg down towards the mat and our left arm up behind our head towards the mat, keeping the other two appendages up. So the right hand, left foot. Then we bring it back so that all four are facing up towards the sun again. And we do the other side. So left foot extends, right leg extends, and the other two appendages stay up. Then we come back and then we work towards flowing between the two. Anchoring through our lower back. If it feels too intense, you can bend your knees. But I actually find that harder for my brain for some reason when my knees are bent. Flow through. It's okay if you're like me and you have to look at your hand and will it to move just by looking at it. We'll do a couple more, or you can also just be holding your hands and feet up here if that feels better and more restful. And when we all will come back to just holding our hands and our feet up. It's okay to bend your knees here too. They don't need to be straight. And then the hands will come down to the earth beside us, palms facing up, and the soles of our feet will come down onto the mat with bent knees. And we'll lift our spine slowly up the mat to come into bridge pose. Modifications here are to slide a block underneath your lower back to make it more restorative. We're pressing into both of our feet. Opening our chests up, keeping the weight out of our head. So it's in our shoulder blades, in our feet. Our heart is open, ready to receive. Slowly lowering back down onto the mat. Let's take both of those knees back towards our bellies and take a rock again, side to side. Wonderful. Keeping just our right knee in towards our belly, we'll extend our left leg down onto the mat. Let's make some circles with our right ankle. Moving one way and then the other, helping keep our ankles healthy. And then that right knee, we'll hold it with our left hand and draw it across the body towards the left side of your mat for our spinal twist, anchoring our shoulder blades back down onto the earth and then opening up our wings. So our palms facing up towards the sun. We make our way into spinal twist here. Modifications are to put a block or a bolster underneath your knee. And when you're ready, you'll roll back to center, draw the opposite knee into your chest. We'll make some small movements with our ankles there. Stretching our back, bringing some health and movement back to our ankles. If it feels okay, extending that opposite leg long and then drawing that knee across the body for your spinal twist on the other side. So if you ever have any questions, especially about these poses that are done laying down when you can't quite see them, you can talk to me after class. One thing I want to say about this pose is it is hard to cue, so it could feel good to be rolled right over onto your right hip. So right onto that right hip. So the pelvis kind of squares up a bit towards the wall. And then you bring the shoulder blades back towards the earth. Keeping in mind that the lower part of our spine doesn't have quite as much mobility as the top. So we want to try to keep the twist happening above the belly button. So try not to twist or torque the lower body. Let's bring those knees back to chest, back into the center. And we'll be making our way into our Shavasana. If you'd like to add a happy baby on here, you can, or you can make your way straight into your Shavasana. We can be lying flat on our backs or knees bent, feet on the floor. So if you're taking care of your back, it could feel good to walk the knees or walk the feet out towards the edges of the mat. And then you let the side edges of the mat, and then you let the knees fall back towards each other. And if anyone wants a eye cover or something to help you feel more rested, please raise your hand and I'll bring one over to you. This is the time now to breathe even more fully. All of our awareness can come to the breath now. Settling into our Shavasana and feeling the weight of our body start to relax and let go. Notice the earth, the mat beneath our bodies supporting us today. So before we get started with a few minutes of silent meditation, well, with the song, a little reading from a favorite book of mine called Amber's, so Ojibwe Meditations. And in one part it says, can you think of a better way to live than in gratitude? Can you think of a better way to be than to be kind, loving, compassionate, respectful, courageous, truthful, and forgiving? Even if we're wrong, can you think of a better way to breathe than through all that? The mind wanders away today from your body, from your breath. It's okay. Notice, bring it back. Give yourself this gift of simple stillness. Slowly becoming aware again of the outside sounds. Maybe you notice distant sounds. Making small movements with our hands, our fingers, our toes. Little movements, moving our head side to side, moving our neck, feeling that, noticing the breath full, just a wonderful gift. Let's reach from our fingertips right to our toes. We can stretch the whole front of our body today. And in your own time, rolling over onto one side, where you can notice another breath fully. And when you're ready, making your way up to an easy seated position. So you can use that top hand to help your way all the way back up, right back. Did we start here? No, we didn't. But you know what I meant. Big, beautiful breath up. Exhale, bring those hands to our hearts. So we've got a few more breaths like this. As we breathe in, imagining the words I am. On that exhale, choosing a word for yourself today that maybe feels right in the moment. Maybe you are, as you breathe in, I am, could be courageous, respectful, truthful, kind, compassionate, all those things that I talked about in our meditation. Forgiving. One more big breath up, inhaling, I am. Exhaling, whatever word resonates for you today. Thank you for joining me during our practice together. Namaste. I do hope that you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And I'll see you next week, or maybe I'll see you sooner. Thank you, ladies at home. See you soon.